मैं ये सीरीज ऑफ वीडियोस 2-3 दिन से बना रहा था और मेरा इरादा था कि मैं पब्लिश करूंगा 5th ऑफ जुलाई को। बट वी ऑल नो व्हाट हैपेंड ऑन द 5th ऑफ जुलाई। It's been a difficult 24 hours and it's a sad day. जो कुछ हुआ जिस तरह से हुआ doesn't bode well. किसी भी पाकिस्तानी को इसको खुशी नहीं होगी, बेशक वो जिधर का भी सपोर्टर हो। It does not bode well for Pakistan and the future of Pakistan कि जिस तरह से चीज़ें जा रही हैं। लेकिन मायूसी गुनाह है और life goes on, and you must keep doing, you know, the very little things that you can keep doing. So consider this my contribution to Imran and his struggle. I'll keep trying to create more content, the type of content that I don't normally see on social media. And I hope you guys support me in keeping my motivation up and making more of these videos, which I fully intend to do. So wish me luck and good luck to Pakistan.
What did they die for? What did they die for?
My pleasure.
क्या प्यारा, कितना वेलकमिंग, कितना खुश स्माइल है इमरान।
Our best journalists hounded out of the country, murdered.
Tim is not here searching for truth. He has a list of talking points. इमरान उसका जो भी जवाब देगा, अब वो कहेगा हाँ हाँ ये तुम तो कह रहे हो, लेकिन देखो ये भी है। He's like nodding like ठीक है चलो ठीक, मतलब I know what you're about.
You don't have any principles?
उसने मेरे से क्यों पूछ रहे हो? तालिबान अपना जवाब खुद देंगे। जब से पाकिस्तान के इंटरनेट और टीवी सीन से कासिम अब्बा को गायब किया गया, तब से वो एक ग्लोबल मीडिया ऑफेंसिव में है। और करे भी क्या, किसी ने जूते भेजे थे जॉगिंग करने के लिए, अथॉरिटीज ने उसमें ड्रग्स डाल के केस बना दिया। इमरान ने सॉरी कासिम के अब्बा ने इसी में आफियत समझी कि घर बैठे फॉरेन मीडिया को इंटरव्यूज दें। अब वो इंटरव्यूज बहुत बड़े बड़े टीवी चैनल्स पर दिए गए, वॉइस ऑफ अमेरिका, बीबीसी वर्ल्ड न्यूज, चैनल 4 और कुछ बहुत मशहूर होस्ट को भी, पियर्स मॉर्गन हो गया, फरीद ज़करिया हो गया, मेहदी हसन हो गया। ऐसे ही एक इंटरव्यू टिम सेबेस्टियन के साथ भी इमरान ने किया। नाउ ये को 15 जुलाई को हुआ था और मैंने इसके बारे में सुना, मोहित पीरज़ादा का एक वीलॉग देख रहा था, उसमें उन्होंने जिक्र किया कि टिम सेबेस्टियन के साथ जो इमरान का इंटरव्यू था उसमें उन्होंने इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं किया जितना करना चाहिए था। और मोहित के मुताबिक उसकी वजह ये थी कि जो मीडिया टीम है उन्होंने प्रॉपर रिसर्च नहीं की। उनको देखना चाहिए था कि अव्वल तो टिम को इंटरव्यू देना है नहीं, ही इज नॉट लेफ्ट ऑफ सेंटर इंटेलेक्चुअल, सो इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ फ्रेंडली इंटरव्यू। तो देना भी है या नहीं, पहले ये देखना चाहिए था। फिर अगर देना भी है तो प्रेपरेशन होनी थी, क्या टॉकिंग पॉइंट्स होंगे, कितना एग्रेसिवली आएगा, और उसके मुताबिक जो है ना फिर इमरान को प्रिपेयर किया जाता। He also contrasted this with the interview जो कि बिलावल भुट्टो जरदारी ने राजदीप सरदेसाई को दिया था अराउंड May 5th, coming off of the SCO summit। मोहित के मुताबिक बिलावल ने उस इंटरव्यू में बहुत बेहतर परफॉर्म किया कंपैरेटिवली विद इमरान खान जो कि बेहतर परफॉर्म कर सकते थे। नाउ आई डू एग्री विद मोहित के बिलावल भुट्टो ने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया उस इंटरव्यू में। व्हाट आई डिसएग्री विद मोहित अबाउट इज के उसके रीजंस क्या थे। मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि इसमें प्रेपरेशन की कमी वो मेजर वजह थी। एंड टू बी ऑनेस्ट, Imran is a motivational, is an inspirational leader. He wings it. I don't even think Imran really believes that he needs preparation for these interviews. He's been doing it for so long, and to be honest, he's been doing it well. Lekin if you notice, though, Imran has been speaking primarily to a local audience and to a sportive audience. I think what he misses out on is focus on handling एक नेगेटिव इंटरव्यूअर जो कि आ रहा है, जो कि कोई एजेंडा पेडल कर रहा है या आपको बुरी लाइट में पोर्ट्रे करना चाह रहा है। तो आई थिंक उसकी इतनी आदत नहीं है इमरान को। सो आई थिंक दैट वाज अ बिगर फैक्टर रादर देन के वो जो टीम थी उसने रिसर्च नहीं की या कम की या प्रिपेयर सही नहीं किया। नाउ इमरान की अप्रोच टुवर्ड्स इंटरव्यूज क्या है, वो ये है कि सादा बंदा है, सीधा बंदा है, सच बोलेगा। सो ही विल स्पीक द ट्रूथ, ही विल ले आउट द फैक्ट्स, he'll appeal to your conscience, he'll appeal to your sense of justice, to the constitution, to the law, and then he'll plead his case to bring you over to his side. Now this works for a local audience or a supportive audience, it doesn't work as well for somebody who's not searching for the truth. Like Tim Sebastian didn't come into the interview looking for where the truth lies. He said he had talking points और वो repeat कर रहा था और वो throw कर रहा था इमरान की तरफ और and he wanted to peddle that agenda. This is his brand of इंटरव्यू. तो इमरान की जो वो एक नेचुरल फ्लेयर है इंटरव्यूज का फॉर अ सपोर्टिव ऑडियंस या समबडी हु इज एट लीस्ट न्यूट्रल, वो इस तरह के इंटरव्यूज में इतना अच्छा काम नहीं करता. कंपेयर दैट टू बिलावल भुट्टो जरदारी. He was entering that interview coming off of the SCO summit. इंडिया गया, हॉस्टाइल टेरिटरी में था उस वक्त भी. इंडिया में एक इंडियन इंटरव्यूअर को इंटरव्यू दे रहे. He knew what was coming towards him. He didn't need any preparation, any research to tell him कि एक aggressive interview होगा. हाँ, उसके पास पूरी बैकिंग ऑफ द फॉरेन ऑफिस थी, फैक्ट्स थे, टॉकिंग पॉइंट्स थे, प्रिपरेशन थी. सो ही डिड परफॉर्म रियली वेल. बट इन एज फार एज के ये इंटरव्यू कैसा होना चाहिए, देना नहीं चाहिए, पॉजिटिव होगा, नेगेटिव होगा, ऑफेंसिव होगा, फ्रेंडली होगा, इट वॉज वेरी क्लियर फॉर बिलावल. इट वॉजंट एज क्लियर फॉर इमरान, जो कि शायद होनी चाहिए थी. बट इवन इफ इट वॉज, इमरान डजंट wander far from his set formula, जो कि मैंने बताया ना, speaking the truth, laying out facts and inviting people to come over to his side. मैं डिसाइड किया कि मैं इन दोनों इंटरव्यूज की ब्रेकडाउन वीडियोस बनाता हूँ. इसका फॉर्मेट ऐसा होगा कि इट्स मोर टू डू विद द टेक्निक ऑफ हाउ यू हैंडलिंग द इंटरव्यू रादर देन द मेरिट ऑफ योर आर्गुमेंट. तो आप सच बोल रहे हो, झूठ बोल रहे हो, अच्छी बात कर रहे हो, नहीं कर रहे, फोकस उस पर नहीं है. फोकस इस पे है कि आप इंटरव्यूअर को हैंडल किस तरह से कर रहे हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर वो आपको कॉर्नर करने की कोशिश कर रहा है तो हाउ डू यू एवेड बीइंग कॉर्नर्ड. दूसरा ये है कि अगर वो इंटरप्ट कर रहा है, डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल हो रहा है, how do you handle that? So it's more to do with technique, less to do with the actual merit of the arguments. And just to make things interesting, we're going to score this like a boxing or an MMA match. So उसमें होता है इस तरह से कि अगर आपने को पंच मारा है, so that's a significant strike landed. अगर आपको पड़ा है तो दैट्स अ सिग्निफिकेंट स्ट्राइक एब्जॉर्ब, तो वो काउंट होते हैं. एंड एट द एंड ऑफ द राउंड अगर आपने फेंटी ज्यादा लगाई है और मार कम खाई है तो यू विन द राउंड. द एनालॉजी हियर इज कि अगर आपने कोई बहुत शानदार पॉइंट मारा है सो दैट्स काउंटेड एज अ सिग्निफिकेंट स्ट्राइक लैंडेड. और अगर आपके ऊपर पॉइंट हुआ है या आपने कोई वीकनेस दिखाई है सो दैट्स अ सिग्निफिकेंट स्ट्राइक एब्जॉर्ब. सो वी गोइंग टू मेक इट इंटरेस्टिंग इन दैट वे कि बॉक्सिंग स्टाइल इसकी स्कोरिंग करेंगे. अच्छा, डू नोट के ये दोनों इंटरव्यूज जो हैं वो हॉस्टाइल है. इमरान वर्सेस टिम सेबेस्टियन के केस में मैं आपको अभी प्ले करता हूँ क्लिप, आप उसको देखें और उसके फिर एंड पे गौर फरमाइए.
Khan insists that Pakistan's powerful and unaccountable army is out to get him and is appealing to the world to save the country's democracy. But what kind of democratic record does he have? He was roundly criticised by human rights groups when he was in office. How does he respond now to their charges? And why has he been so soft on the Taliban?
अब ये आखिरी पार्ट मुझे बिल्कुल ऐसे लगा है, व्हाई इज ही सो सॉफ्ट ऑन तालिबान वाली बात, कि जैसे ट्रम्प का कोई इंटरव्यू कर रहा हो और वो टॉपिक ये हो कि ट्रम्प की टैरिफ्स विद चाइना, हाउ वुड इट अफेक्ट अमेरिकन बिजनेसेस डूइंग ट्रेड विद चाइना, और उसके एंड में वो कहें एंड व्हाई इज ही टॉकिंग अबाउट ग्रैबिंग. नाउ he may have said that and it might be something worth talking about, but it's out of context. Why is he so soft on Taliban? So, right off the bat, they're setting the tone. This is what Imran is about. He's soft on Taliban. So this just sets the stage कि ये एक hostile interview होना है. In the case of Bilawal Zardari, आप सिर्फ ये तस्वीर देखो on your screens. और ये जो एक टिपिकल, इसको बॉडी लैंग्वेज में अटारी फेस कहते हैं. अटारी का लोगो ऐसे होता था और बीच में लाइन होती है. सो व्हेनेवर दीज आईब्रोज गो डाउन, सो इट्स जनरली अ यूनिवर्सल साइन ऑफ सैडनेस या वीकनेस. इट जस्ट डजंट पोर्ट्रे यू इन अ पॉजिटिव लाइट. सो ये दोनों इंटरव्यूज are adversarial, they're hostile. In that regard, they're both equal. Imran doesn't seem to be entirely aware कि ये एक hostile interview है. और वो आप ये वीडियो देखो पहले exchange की.
Imran Khan, welcome to Conflict Zone.
My pleasure.
क्या प्यारा, कितना वेलकमिंग, कितना खुश स्माइल है इमरान खान. I mean, this is kind of shows he's not on defensive. If you look at the smile that Imran is flashing, it doesn't seem to be कि वो एक expect कर रहा है कि एक negative hostile interviewer है मेरे सामने. This should have been entirely predictable, but apparently it wasn't. Whereas मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ बिलावल भुट्टो की starting introduction जो उसको दी है.
Appreciate your joining us here.
कितना cautious
Mr. Bhutto
smile
Zardari.
है. He's not
Welcome to
overcommitting.
India. You're
He's
the
not
first
expecting
foreign minister
anything
from
good
Pakistan.
even. नजर आ रहा है. He's like nodding like ठीक है चलो. मतलब आई नो व्हाट यूर अबाउट सो एक ये डिफरेंस है स्टार्ट में जो कि नजर आ रहे दोनों की अप्रोच में. एंड नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द एक्चुअल ब्रेकडाउन. इमरान वर्सेस टिम.
You've been complaining that democracy is hanging by a thread in Pakistan. Surely one of the main reasons for that is that you have a powerful army that's been pulling the strings since independence in the country and without any public accountability. Why did you never manage to bring it under democratic control?
सवाल ये है कि why did you not manage to bring in the army under your control? अब जवाब देते हैं and see if you can note something missing.
Well, Tim, Pakistan started off as a security state. There was enormous amount of insecurity in Pakistan that will we survive as a state? So hence the over-reliance on the military began. Almost half the time we were ruled directly by military. The rest by these two families. Army basically is entrenched in our political system. Now the big question is, how do we now evolve our political system into moving towards a genuine democracy rather than a hybrid system?
अब जवाब तो बहुत अच्छा, डिटेल, रैशनल, लॉजिकल था. हाँ, प्रॉब्लम इसमें ये थी कि नेवर आंसर द क्वेश्चन. उन्होंने हिस्ट्री से स्टार्ट किया और फिर वे फॉरवर्ड भी बताया. जो एक्चुअल सवाल था कि आप क्यों नहीं कर पाए, वो टोटली इग्नोर किया है या हो गया. लेकिन ये कि राइट ऑफ द बैट समथिंग मिसिंग फ्रॉम द रिस्पॉन्स. ये अगली क्लिप में टिम इमरान से पूछता है कि जी आपने आर्मी से पंगा लिया तो आपको पता था कि पंगा ले रहे हो. पहले रिस्पॉन्स देखें और फिर मैं उस पर कॉमेंट करूँ.
Out of 37 by-elections, my party swept 30 of them, despite the establishment supporting them. Now that's when they got worried and that's when they tried to kill me. That was my first assassination attempt.
Something they've denied. Something, of course, which they've denied. Mr. Khan, you claim to want democracy in Pakistan, but
अभी उसका रिस्पॉन्स चल रहा है और बीच में वो उसको रबिश करेगा और टीम उसको कहेगा कि हाँ वो तुम तो कह रहे हो कि लेकिन गवर्नमेंट नहीं मानती. और अब ये नया मसला लाएगा कि भाई इसका जवाब. टिम इज नॉट हियर सर्चिंग फॉर ट्रूथ. ही हैज अ लिस्ट ऑफ टॉकिंग पॉइंट्स और इमरान उसका जो भी जवाब देगा वो कहेगा हाँ ये तुम तो कह रहे हो लेकिन देखो ये भी है. एंड ही कीप शिफ्टिंग द गोल पोस्ट. ये भी आप एक पैटर्न नोट करोगे. सो दिस वाज जस्ट द फर्स्ट एग्जांपल. मैं कहा ये आइडेंटिफाई करो. एक और एग्जांपल मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कि जिसमें अगेन इमरान अपना रिस्पॉन्स दे रहा है, एक आर्ग्यूमेंट बिल्डअप कर रहा है और टिम ना सिर्फ उसको काट के बल्कि उसको अगेन इग्नोर करके ना उसको एक्नॉलेज किया ना उसको डिस्प्यूट किया, जस्ट मूव्ड ऑन, शिफ्टेड द गोल पोस्ट.
All we asked them was that there were 133 petitions. We said just have 4 random ones, just have an audit done, and if there's no rigging, we will accept it. So
look, in August 2014, your activists, alongside those of a hardline Islamist preacher, Tahir ul-Qadri, attacked the parliament and other government buildings, and you fanned the flames of violence when talks failed. What did that have to do with democracy?
एक नई बात करके भाई ये भी तुमने बहुत बुरा काम किया. What did that have to do with democracy? ये एक पैटर्न है and it will keep continuing. So just want to establish this pattern. Tim ने पैटर्न establish किया है. Now the onus is on Imran to break this pattern. अभी तक ये हो रहा है. He's established range and he's established dominance. उसने octagon cover कर लिया है. He's pushed Imran. Imran is on the defensive. और इसके बाद अब strikes आनी शुरू होंगी.
You told the crowd, I'm prepared to die here. I'm here till my last breath. It's almost as if you wanted a punch-up.
अब ये पहला स्ट्राइक थी टिम की. लाइक इट्स नॉट जस्ट हिज वर्ड्स, उसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज देखी. लाइक ही इज हंच्ड फॉरवर्ड, ही इज लुकिंग एट हिम जैसे एक टीचर एक स्टूडेंट को देख रहा हो. दिस इज डेफिनेटली द फर्स्ट स्ट्राइक थ्रोन. नाउ लेट्स सी इमरान इसको पैरी करता है, डिफेंड करता है, काउंटर अटैक करता है, क्या करता है.
No. This is right. What are you talking about right now? What's happened? I mean, it's completely different what's happening right now. Or are you talking about 19...
I was talking.
Ouch. That was bad. So his body language was weak. He got confused and his smile was appeasing as if he's trying to, please Tim. So that was bad. Imran never saw the punch, hit him flush in the jaw. This was actually a knockdown. But don't worry, Imran does recover, but not before he faces more adversity.
2014. I was talking about 2014, the mob in Islamabad.
What happened was, they tried to disrupt our peaceful protest. And they tried to remove us from there. And then there was tear gas and so on, and trying to scare us away. And so we resisted that. The fact is, in my 27 years, I have always urged everyone to remain within the Constitution and exercise our right for peaceful protest. And that's what it was. 126 days. Only one day there was this tear gas shelling, and when there were, sadly, a few casualties, 3 or 4 people died.
Imran starts off well here. He slows down his rate of speech, authoritatively baat kar raha hai. But eventually it's his natural niceness that is his undoing. वो दोबारा he's smiling and then he starts pleading again. And the worst part was towards the end, because he's let Tim put him on the stand and he feels like he needs to justify himself to Tim, and he's also feeling defensive. So in the end, he mumbles that 3 or 4 people died, and that was the worst part. I mean, he should have been on the offensive because 3-4 बंदे इनके मरे थे. They killed 3 or 4 of our people. Instead, क्या आप mumble कर रहे हो? देखो 2-3-4 बंदों का मर जाना कोई छोटी बात नहीं है. And because he's feeling defensive, he's trying to just brush it aside. 3 or 4 people died, and just trying to close the point. So he started off strong, but ended up weak. यहाँ पे I would like to give an example कि Andrew Tate का जब BBC के साथ इंटरव्यू हो रहा था.
And what is she accused? Has she accused me of a crime? This imaginary Sophie?
She's making the point that there is
Has she accused me of a crime?
emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here because I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you the question.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answers.
No, we're equal here. I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you. And I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent.
Of course not. And because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here?
The way that he establishes early on in the interview, we're equal. I've invited you into my home. I'm going to throw back my questions. Imran should at least learn a bit from that. देखो, Imran ka time is infinitely more valuable than Tim ka time. Imran is infinitely more well known around the world. Uski standing Tim se zyada hai. He needs to realize that whoever he's talking to, he's in the dominant position. Tim wants to interview him. Tim wants his time. और इसकी achievements हर तरह से Imran is head and shoulders above the person who's interviewing him, but he's still letting him walk over him. तो ये एक weakness है. अच्छा, एक और example है उसी टेट के इंटरव्यू की जो मैं दिखाना चाहता हूँ, और उसकी वजह ये है कि वो एक टेक्निक यूज कर रहा है, और वो टेक्निक ये यूज कर रहा है कि आई एम स्मार्टर देन यू, आई एम बेटर देन यू, I know more about this than you do.
Well, let's just be clear that not all of the witnesses in the case are behaving in the way you describe, and even those that are, it doesn't bar them from being treated as victims by the prosecution by the case.
We have an open criminal investigation. I am absolutely not really sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely not really, I've never hurt anybody.
Or that's relevant because in the particular case, Imran is infinitely closer to those events than Tim is. So you can definitely use this technique. Okay, I know about this, you don't know about this. And we will see in Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's interview, he does use this technique. Imran को भी ये technique सीखनी चाहिए और employ करनी चाहिए. अच्छा, अब चूंकि Tim smells blood, so he's going to go on the offensive again. Let's see how Imran handles it this time.
Why not control your supporters instead of stoking the violence? What we saw this year, May this year, your arrest by paramilitary troops at the Islamabad High Court. This led to protests and rioting by your supporters across the country, as well as vandalism against military installations. At least 8 people died, probably many more. What did they die for? What did they die for?
Look at the irony of the situation. Imran के arrest की बात हो रही है, illegal arrest, उसको मारा पीटा, and Tim is turning it on him to justify, और उसको कह रहा है कि you were stoking violence और तुमने बंदे मरवाए, and again that side profile. What did they die for? Blow thrown. Let's see what Imran does with it.
A classic case of blame the victim.
जबरदस्त ब्लॉक किया इमरान ने, पैरी किया.
What happened on the 9th of May? I was sitting inside the Islamabad High Court. there was no warrant against me for arrest. While I was sitting there filling in the forms, there was an attack by not just rangers but commandos.
Good, confident reply, slowed down, authoritative, voice में जवाब दिया.
Commandos came in, and this is visible everywhere. They came in, they broke through that registry office I was sitting in. They beat up everyone. My lawyers were beaten up. The staff was beaten up. I was hit on my head, and they dragged me out like a criminal. And when these images went out, there was obviously going to be a reaction.
Great response so far. But we just realized he actually 1-2 punch combination tha team ka. And he's on the offensive again.
Did you
But
call
bear
for
in
calm?
mind-
Did you call for
bear-
calm?
one, just complete it.
Did you call for calm? अब कितनी sarcastic tone में बात कर रहा है. And to be honest, again, another blow landed. Imran, one, please, just one moment. You don't need to plead. You can talk over him. You don't need his permission. You don't need to explain anything to him. So again, that's another significant strike absorbed by Imran. And I think he felt that too, क्योंकि इसके बाद he goes on the offensive.
Bear in mind, the Supreme Court then passed a verdict that my arrest was not arrest, abduction was unconstitutional and unlawful. So I was the victim of this. And the way they treated me and the reaction to that, there was always going to be a reaction. I mean, imagine the head of the biggest party being treated like a terrorist. So there was going to be a reaction. But the question is, who ordered it? Who ordered that unlawful, unconstitutional act?
Look at the body language. Look at the eyebrows furrowed in anger. This is how Imran should be coming on. Especially अगर दूसरी तरफ से unfair और sarcastic बातें आ रही हैं तो इस तरह का response इमरान को देना चाहिए. He is entitled to be angry. He is entitled to behave this way if they are being unfair.
The question is also the question is also whether you tried to stop it.
ओ यार, अब ये सॉरी कहने का क्या मकसद था? Like, I understand कि वो एक लैग होता है, ऑनलाइन वो इंटरव्यू दे रहे हैं, इंटरनेट पता नहीं कैसा होगा, तो उसमें कंफ्यूजन होती है. बट अगेन, सॉरी का वर्ड इमरान के वोकैबुलरी में होना ही नहीं चाहिए था. You should never stoop down to saying sorry. Even अगर वो कोई इस तरह की कंफ्यूजन में हो या कुछ भी हो, he should just cut that word out of his vocabulary for such situations. I wouldn't say that was a strike absorbed, but it definitely wasn't a good look. लेकिन इसके बाद जो strike इमरान करता है, that's worth looking at.
Mr. Khan, you're often declared commitment.
Tim, hold on. Tim, hold on. I was in jail for 4 days. How was I supposed to stop? I didn't even know what was going on.
अब टिम साहब कह रहे हैं कि why did you not try to stop them? इमरान ने उसको बोल ही नहीं दिया. उसको कहा रुको, stop, hold on. मैं कैसे रोकूंगा कि अगर मैं जेल के अंदर? He put a stop to him. He talked over him and continues with his point in an authoritative manner. Love that. Need to see more of that from Imran. अच्छा, अब फेंटी जो पड़ी है टिम को इमरान से, तो he's definitely going to try to get back at him, and he does. Watch this.
Mr. Khan, your often declared commitment to democracy doesn't seem to have been appreciated by everybody when you were in power. In 2021, Human Rights Watch says your government stepped up its efforts to control the media and curtail dissent. Authorities harassed and at times detained journalists and other members of civil society for criticizing government officials and policies, it said. Are you proud of that?
I wish they would give me specific incidents. We have investigated. There were 10 incidents of journalists who claimed that they had been mistreated. 10 incidents. My party was only responsible for one of them, my government, which immediately we remedied.
अच्छा, इस क्लिप के स्टार्ट में इमरान is going strong, and he had the opportunity. We found the gap, or we could have thrown an uppercut to knock down Tim. This concludes the first part, but there's some really juicy stuff still to come in the second part. half of which is already done and half of which I still need to make. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys what you liked or didn't like in this video, the format, the setup, the audio, the lighting, my face, whatever it might be. Please do comment and let me know what you like and what you don't like, because there is literally no other way for us to find out how to improve our content. If you do like the content and would like to receive more like it, please do not forget to subscribe, to like, and press the bell button so you're the first to find out whenever the second part is released. And I look forward to seeing you guys very soon.